I recently created this Elden Ring inspired animation using Unreal Engine so I could lie to TikTok that a cutscene was leaked to gain some impressions from lying on the internet, because who doesn't do that? And this is some of the process of creating this animation. I hope you enjoy. We are starting off inside Unreal, where we just block out our scene using the Unreal 5.4 motion design cloner techniques. So by scattering a bunch of rocks and trees, we immediately get a result that I was looking for. I wanted this boss arena type thing going on with a split in the middle that shows the night sky and a bunch of trees. And that's pretty much it. So for the base blockout, we're done, and then it's on to the character. This time I am trying to get a workflow going where I can combine custom body shapes using DAS characters and then adding metahuman custom heads on top of them to then add custom groom hair on top of that. So we can get a character that works with a custom body shape and is not limited to the metahuman base bodies, a custom head that has very high fidelity, and hairstyles that work very well in tandem with all the rest of the aspects. I'm just trying some groom techniques and some simulation techniques which didn't quite work. So we jump into Marvelous Designer to create a dress, making sure that the animation works well with the bottom part of the dress considering it's so long, and then we model out the rest of it, which is basically just some basic shapes. As always, the fabric garment cutting aspect of this is probably not the way you would do it normally, but it works for the end result that we are looking for, and then we bring that as a base into Unreal so we can get a feel for what's going on. We block out the scene some more with some additional foliage that we can also scatter using the cloner tool and all the effectors that are used to make sure that some areas are affected and some aren't. We're using Easy Fog for the fog in the background. I added a scythe, and then it's all about blocking out, seeing what kind of camera moves I want to have. Some more stones, some more rocks, some more trees, some more lights, and then we're already moving into a place that I'm super happy with. And I realized, probably a bit too empty, so I thought about creating a nest where her scythe is being held. And I started off doing that inside Cinema 4D by just blocking out basic shapes using the Easy Ivy plugin to add like these strings, create a basic model inside DAS which I can use for the arm. Just cut that out, import that there, see if it works scale wise, and then we can pretty much move on to ZBrush to do some UV mapping and some additional mesh refining by using all sorts of brushes. One of my favorites being the creature mouth kits, where you can easily add some texture onto your objects immediately, just to give it like a disgusting feel. And then we UV unwrap all of that, import that into Substance Painter, slap a lot of smart materials and smart masks on it to make sure that we get the look that we desire. Then, after replacing the DAS head with the metahuman head, I wanted to make sure that the skin color kind of matches the DAS skin. So I desaturated the base skin, but as you can see, you get a high fidelity head with a custom head shape that isn't limited to the metahuman sliders only, and we do some tweaking to the eyes just to see if it all works. And I realized I need to exchange the other textures as well, so the face diffuse is the same when she blinks. I animate her roughly, which I think I'll go back on this and just replace this with an actual facial motion capture recording I took off my phone, which works a bit better. You get a more realistic motion with that. But for now, that works. I import the scythe into Substance Painter because I want to texture that one as well, of course. And after we've done that, same process, simple smart materials and smart mask, we import that into Marvelous Designer to animate and simulate some cloth garments hanging off of the scythe. Pretty easy, straightforward, just some pieces of cloth that hang off the scythe. Simulate them with the wind enabled, and then we make sure that we simulate the clothing of her dress as well, which I realized there is way too much friction between the dress and the body parts because they are intersecting with each other. So I was like, yeah, this probably won't do. At the end, I'll go back, tweak the animation, import it back into Marvelous and resim it again by adding a bunch of like ornamental texture layers onto my dress UV, I can then create bump, roughness, diffuse, normal textures, whatever you can imagine with the free materialize program, which works super well. I do that because I do want the dress to be stenciled out at some parts, I guess, using the normal map. I made the mistake of bringing the thick substance, the thick marvelous garment into substance, which you should not do. That's a no-no, and I'll go back later and fix that. But yeah, this is the base process, importing all the UV normals and stuff we created using materialize, and then just as always, smart masks, smart materials, some fabric stuff, and we're done. Bring all that back into Unreal, and then it's back to tinkering. As always, you want to see what works and what doesn't. I'm trying to set the mood by lighting different aspects of the area, and I was like, yeah, the red is... I'm not feeling the red, and I was like, this is about to be an Elden Ring inspired DLC animation, so I made sure to turn it gold because it fits so well with her hair as well. And that's the animation. I recorded using facial motion capture with some minor tweaks, works super well. And we are back to blocking out, adding details, making sure that every shot kind of works. And you just need to add details and the important stuff around the shots that you are actually using. In cases like these, I mean, obviously you would make sure that every angle kind of works well in every scenario, but that's fine for what we're doing right here. Pretty much doing the same. Adding some more rocks, adding some more light, making sure the composition is tight. It's maybe not perfect, but I like it. And some additional lighting tweaks. And we're pretty much almost done with whatever I had in mind. I was like, yeah, that rock there is a good place for a crown to be. So from Daz to Substance, we texture a crown. Just some simple gold materials and want some of the ornamental stencils as height maps. Bring that into Unreal. Connect all the textures, add some additional light sources so we can make sure the crown is focused. And then it's all about making sure your shots are tight and the lighting for each shot fits. I have different lighting scenarios for all of my 3 shots that I used. So I rendered them one by one and not as a whole. And after the render process out of Unreal was done, we are moving straight into After Effects with all of our 3 shots. And then we do some minor changes, add some LUTs, make sure each shot has their own treatment but looks the same. Add glow, add de-enhancer, add film grain. All the good stuff. Mask out some of the glow. Add some additional depth of field for her subdivision 0 arm out of Daz. And the focus sits, and this is what we ended up with. As always, thank you for tuning in. I'll soon make a tutorial on how to create custom characters combining metahumans and Daz characters as well as custom hair, so keep an eye out for that. And I have a Patreon where I upload process videos including voiceover every month, so keep an eye out for that if you're interested, and see you next time.